So today, I want to talk about accommodation. Now, talking about accommodation, I have realized that most people in Nigeria, especially young people, when they make their first millions or when they make their first money, they see that it is heavy. Instead of patronizing an affordable accommodation, they go ahead to go pick um, an accommodation or apartment that is more of aesthetics. Now, forgetting that you picking a house that is more of aesthetics, but can you be able to renew your next year rent? That's the part you need to look at for. Can you be able to pay for your next year rent? Because it's not about going to pay for a house of 8 million naira, 4 bedroom flat, 5 million naira, and all that. Now, you hear most young people telling you the house get POP. I'm not disputing the fact that POP is not a house with POP is not a good house. I'm not disputing the fact. But what I'm trying to say is understand how Nigeria works. There's a saying that if you go to Rome, behave like the Romans. Nigeria is not a place where you come and just jump into doing anything. It doesn't work like that. Nigeria does not work like that. There's a guy who said he wanted a house. Now, the house he wanted was a 4 bedroom flat in Apo, 8 million naira. He paid the first year rent of 8 million naira. The next year, he couldn't pay anything. He didn't have money to renew the 8 million naira rent. Now, he had to move down to Kubwa. He asked the agent to provide a house of like 2.5 million naira. The agent told him you could get a house of 1.8 to 2 million naira of that same class. He said no, that he wants 2.5 million naira. Now, lo and behold, they still packaged a house of 1.8 million naira and gave to him. He stayed because he wants all those aesthetics and all that. I'm not saying aesthetics is not good. One thing you have to realize is know when to move. Know when you're supposed to move to a 3 bedroom flat. Know when you're supposed to move to a 2 bedroom flat. Know when you're supposed to sing. There's a saying that there is time for everything. You can't use all your first millions you made to rent an apartment. I've seen cases where somebody spent so much renting an apartment, furnishing it and all that. Now, he couldn't even get money to eat. Now you're using all the money you made, your first money you made, or the money you made to rent an apartment and furnish it, but you cannot eat. It doesn't really make sense. In this part of the world, I would say there's a saying that if you go to Rome, you behave like the Romans. It is tantamount. It is, I would say, as a Nigerian that needs to thrive in this inflation with the bad government we're facing here, I would say it is very important for a young person, a family person, to know the kind of apartment they take. You have to calculate your next move before making them. The guy I told you moved from Apo to Kubwa. He later on ended up in where Kaduna Road. Kaduna Road is Niger State. It's not in Abuja. Outskirts of Abuja, a different state from Abuja, where he could pay rent of like 500k. Now, lo and behold, had he been that guy was careful and calculative enough, he would have known that, okay, had he been he started from somewhere, let's say in Kubwa, for that 2.5 million, it is very certain on how to go about it. And he wouldn't have fallen so fast. Thank you.